I'm not good in math. Let me just say that first of all, I'm not good in math. But my starting point will be this. If a man of God comes to our church with a master's degree, and we have 10 or 15 people there in the church who got master's degrees, I am saying, when you go to your job, they pay you $100,000 a year. His salary ought to be compatible with yours.
Okay, on the average.
Yeah. Okay. You know why? I'm telling you. Here's the thing. Sometimes we cheapen and lessen the ministry.
Okay.
I'm very serious in what I say. Even if you go back in the Old Testament and look at the Levitical system, let me know when it's time. The Levitical system, you will see that they were reiterating the fact that the Levites and the priests must be well taken care of. That's biblical.
Yes, sir.
Always look at the size of your church. If you have 100 people, 50 people in that church, professional people, middle income and above, that's what that pastor should fit at. Right there, I'm serious. That's where he should fit. Now this we did at the church my son passed. This we did, and that stuff has worked. Now what they did, really, they looked at the community too. And because when we started our church, he started with Eat Free, and of course that was a white group. That white group of people came down and said to the church of this size, and we were about 100 at that time. He said his salary with the professional people you got here is $65,000 a year. $65,000 a year starting salary. That's what he said. They asked him how he came to that, and he showed them. He said, now, all of those, here was one of the other lasting things. He said, all of those who may have lower income, most of those are subject to lose their jobs before people with higher income range. That's what he said. Now let me just say this to you now. From that day, that's been 6 years ago, have gone. 6 years ago, and we've seen people coming, we've seen people going. But, and we had a split, because we went up to about 350 members, 100 some of them left. Had a split. But that church is still determined, and they do. I don't know what his income is now. I'm sure it has increased. They do give him according to that level of professionalism that's in the church. Now, here's what I'm saying. How many of you remember this brother came here and taught about something on money?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? You remember that? There's a word that in Galatians 5, it talks about control. The fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, and self-control. Now, I know for a fact that if we live in by the Spirit of God, and see, I don't always see a person out of control because he gets upset. But I look at controlling even when we go out and start spending money. Thank you. It's time for a break. Now listen to this. Sometimes here's the problem I have. We have enough money. One person can buy a home, $250,000. Am I right? A couple. Then when it comes, you got 50 to 100 people. It comes to building God's home for $500,000. All at once, we can't do that. somewhere along the line, we got to get to teaching people how to prioritize God and controlling how they spend their money. Some people are overspending, and that's why